The biggest patch Pokemon Pokopia has ever seen is available now, and we're going to break everything down. Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new video. Just yesterday, a huge update and expansion pass was announced for Pokemon Pokopia, which will be available in the coming weeks. But a free patch is available right now, bringing Pokemon Pokopia up to version 1.1.0 and includes so many fixes and adjustments that it's actually the biggest patch the game has seen to date. So if you want to learn more and find out what's been fixed or adjusted, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new here, and let's get into it. Now this patch is available now and it's fixed so much stuff, so we're going to jump straight into it and probably talk a little bit about it towards the end. But it's quite interesting. So thanks to the latest update version 1.1.0 released just yesterday, the following improvements have been implemented. Added new conversation variations between Pokemon. Added new conversation variations when Pokemon have the ... speech bubble. Adjusted the timing and topic distribution of conversations when Pokemon have the ... speech bubble. When using chairs or beds, Pokemon accompanying Ditto will now use them together if possible. Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon, Glaceon and Sylveon will now sleep at the edge of sofas similar to Leafeon. When placing objects, Pokemon accompanying Ditto will now avoid the placement preview area. When moving Pokemon into a 2-story house, you can now select the destination floor even while indoors. When Pokemon process materials at the community box or furnace, they will prioritize locations closer to their own habitats. While Ditto is falling after its transformation wears off, pressing the run or jump buttons will return Ditto to its human transformation and allow various controls. The placement limit for items that use electricity has been increased from 512 to 1024. This will apply to items placed after installing the update. When placing the laser sensor item, the sensor's detection range will now be displayed. In the environment level detail screen, you can now see which Pokemon's comfort level requests you fulfilled that day. In the items section of the collection menu, pressing the X button will let you view color variations of flowers and hedges. In the filter menu of the Pokédex and Habitat decks, the filter action button has been renamed Confirm. When saving game settings in the main menu, it is now clearer that a save is in progress. You can now adjust game settings in the main menu while auto-saving is in progress. Adjusted the dialogue in the request place the Ditto flag in Withered Wasteland to make it clearer where to place the flag. Adjusted the dialogue in the important request Yawn Up a Storm in Withered Wasteland to make it easier to understand how to increase the humidity. Adjusted the dialogue in the request Flowers in the Planter in Bleak Beach to make the progression easier to understand. Adjusted the request Help Fix Up a Home in Bleak Beach to make it clearer where to build the habitat. Added dialogue options during in-game events that allow you to cancel trades. During in-game events, you can now temporarily suspend trades at the Pokemon Center. Adjusted the descriptions of Pokemon requests to build houses to make them easier to understand. In multiplayer, a choice will now be displayed for whether to listen to a Pokemon's request. You can now obtain blocks of volcanic rock on volcanic Dream Islands. Change the sound played when placing the shutter furniture item to a more appropriate one. Adjusted the comfort level settings of the waterproof seat and stone fireplace furniture items to feel more natural. Now that is a lot, and that is most of the new improvements that have been fixed. There is still a whole bunch more to get through, by the way, but most of these things are just kind of making things feel a little bit more varied and a bit more variety to give the, I guess just the nature and the core mechanics of the game a little bit more depth and a little bit more cozy, if you like. Some of the Pokemon actions match other Pokemons, there's more speech, a few things have been fixed to just make kind of general quality of life of playing a little bit more immersive and fun and natural. And there's obviously been a lot of UI changes as well, and just making sure that the tasks can be completed without getting too confused when you're told to do something and it's not 100% clear what you need to do, like placing the first Ditto flag, for example. So a lot of this is just making the game a little bit better, a little bit easier for everyone to understand, and a little bit more engaging. Now that's about 50% of what this patch introduced, but there are even more bug fixes. So let's jump in. The following issues have been fixed. In certain situations, Pokemon may stop part way while processing materials from the community box. In certain situations, transactions at the Pokemon Center or Pokemart may end immediately. By the way, these are like the other way around. We're now reading the issues and they have been fixed. So it's kind of like the opposite of what we're listing here. Hoppip, Skiploom, and Jumpluff may be unable to move through the air. So for example, now they can fly through the air. When Pokemon appear at the Chansey resting area habitat, they may clip into the Chansey plant. In the hot spring shower habitat, Pokemon may not react to the hot spring. During hide and seek, doors and windows cannot be opened. In certain situations, learning an emote may cause a Pokemon to fall. While taking photos with the camera, if you set Ditto's expression to the default, the expressions of other Pokemon may not change. Some Pokemon may be less likely to appear in town if they do not have a habitat. When bringing a Pokemon from another town, it sometimes may be able to move into a blockhouse. In certain situations, Ludicolo may appear in two different towns, and when moving between towns, it may disappear from both. When Vespiquen appears on a Cloud Island, items exchanged for honey may not be available until the next day. During virtual mode, a Pokemon following Ditto may not get on a lift. In certain situations, requests to place items in a home may not be able to be completed. In certain situations, even after removing items that Pokemon dislike, their comfort level does not increase. In certain situations, a Pokemon's active time may not increase even when the brightness matches their preference. In certain situations, Pokemon may comment that it has become darker or brighter even when no change was made. While using Surf, pressing the L stick may not sustain running. In certain situations, when placing a poster on a wall, the placement preview may not display correctly. The punching game item may sometimes not respond. The treasure and jewel wall decoration items may display incorrectly underwater. Not quite sure how people are doing that yet. When wooden fencing is placed next to a wooden gate, they do not connect. When constructing something that requires both the Bulldoze and Crush specialties, if a Pokemon that specializes in both is assigned, it may become impossible to assign a Pokemon to the Bulldoze slot. With some construction kits, if construction is cancelled under certain conditions, the screen may remain black and controls become unresponsive. Under certain conditions, construction may not complete even on the following day. When relocating or demolishing certain structures such as the charging station, parts of the floor may become unbreakable. In certain situations, drying out blocks with a smooth rock may cause seeds planted in them to disappear. The request charge up the charging station in Bleak Beach may remain incomplete even after being completed. During the quest Pokemon Center tour guide in the Sparkling Skylands, performing certain steps may prevent relocation. In certain situations, going to a Dream Island may instead take you to Pallet Town. In certain situations, if going to a Dream Island fails, the game may become unplayable. In certain situations, in multiplayer, items may be lost during host transfer or when the session is disbanded. After completing certain steps, if guests on a Cloud Island purchase a large number of items, the items may disappear. In certain situations, completing a special challenge may prevent certain recipes from being learned. On a Cloud Island, messages about in-game events may repeatedly appear. The conditions for starting the jump rope contest on a Cloud Island are set incorrectly. In certain situations, starting the construction completion event for Skyland Building 4F may cause the controls to become unresponsive. And finally, additionally, several other issues have been fixed to improve the overall gameplay experience. Wow, that was a lot to get through, and they're just bug fixes. Here they've essentially just listed every single bug that the community has encountered at one point or another and that they've gone out of their way to fix. So a lot of these, in some cases, stop people even being able to play the game or progressing or getting past a certain request or just not having an enjoyable experience because Pokemon were doing things they shouldn't. And these are all things that have been publicly acknowledged and they found, again, through more testing that they have specifically fixed. So unlike all the things they've added in the previous section of the video, where they've added features or updated the UI and made things more nicer, this explicit things that were broken that they have now fixed, like how Pokemon react around certain habitats, being able to move between towns with certain Pokemon, how certain Pokemon behave when they should float instead of walking around, and other things that occur in certain situations like going to Dream Islands, and how some of the things you should find or where you should end up when you go through gates and things like that. So these are all the bug fixes. The first half of the video were all new introductions and updates, so a pretty big patch bringing Pokemon Pokopia up to version 1.1.0, and this really is in preparation for the DLC, which will drop in August along with the free update that introduces the new dive mechanic. So there's a lot to look forward to. This update is getting things ready. Of course, you can now claim the pre-order bonuses for the DLC if you've ordered it, which is another thing this update has kind of prepared your game for. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you enjoy seeing what has been fixed? Did you encounter any of these issues? If you did, let us know which ones. I'd love to read through those. But yeah, hope you don't have any problems updating Pokemon Pokopia. If you need to check, just go to the game icon on the title screen, press the plus button, and you should be able to do a software update there if it hasn't already gone up to version 1.1.0. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video breaking down everything you need to know about this most recent patch. It's pretty big by many standards. This is probably one of the biggest patches we've ever covered on any of the games that we talk about. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.